odd. 6 is a little boy blue. Looks like it's for
Broadcasting live from the Capital OTB studios, this is Racing Across America with Seth Merrow.
We'd like to thank Gulfstream Park for their sponsorship of this program and some of the other programming and events here at Capital OTB. Gulfstream Park's championship meet features great racing now through Florida Derby weekend at the end of March. Good morning and welcome to Racing Across America on this Sunday morning. I am Seth Merrow. Thanks for joining us. As usual on a Sunday morning, we'll take a look at some of the stakes action from yesterday and obviously highlighted by that Virginia Derby. We had a lot of conversation about that here on the network over the past couple of days, and the results played into some of what we were talking about. Also want to alert you as to what's coming up next week here at Capital OTB, because next week, March Madness kicks off. Actually, the madness kicked off with the conference tournaments this week, which have been a lot of fun. But next week, the official, March Madness tournament kicks off. So come on down here, Clubhouse Racebook, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, hoops and horses. Watch some horse racing action. Watch all the NCAA action as well. Right here, Clubhouse Racebook, next Thursday through Sunday. Grab a little lunch at Black Bear. You can have a day of it right here. Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue in Albany. Don't forget on Friday, the Bounty Bet will return. That's always a lot of fun as well. All you have to do to take your shot at the Bounty is play the late pick 5 this coming Friday at Gulfstream. Play it with your Capital OTB bet account. You're in for a shot at the Bounty. This upcoming Saturday, a week from yesterday, Fan Appreciation Day at the Latham branch. So if you're a patron out in that direction, stop by, have a little extra fun. That's Saturday, this coming Saturday, the 21st at the Latham branch, Fan Appreciation Day. So again, some fun things coming up over the next week here at Capital OTB. You can keep up with all of those via the website, capitalotb.com. Click on the promotions link, click on the events calendar, and you can see what the entire month looks like. And plan ahead, as it were, because as I say, there's a lot of fun, chance for some free money with some of the contests and promotions, and certainly wish you a lot of luck and hope that you participate, because that's always fun when we get, kind of the more the merrier, as it were. Do want to remind folks that today, mandatory pay in the Rainbow Six down at Gulfstream. So if you're a Rainbow player or you just kind of sit it out, but jump in for these mandatories, which juice up nicely. I think I read they were expecting maybe a couple of million in the pool. That is today, Gulfstream Park, mandatory pay in the Rainbow Six. All right, let's get to it. As I said, we had some nice conversation over the past couple of days focusing on 3-year-olds. Obviously, we had our Derby deep dive on Friday, and Virginia Derby conversation rolled in as well. And it was a nice field. Field of 10, as I said, kind of at this point, second stringers maybe hoping to bounce up into the A-team, as it were. Some of them had potential A-team written on them, but then in their last starts, not so much. And that's what it was for Incredibolt. And we had talked about Incredibolt over the past couple of days, the Riley Mott runner that had won the Street Sense last October at Churchill. And I say it all the time. The Churchill races, both of the fall meet, the 2-year-old races at Churchill, I think, are very productive. Maidens, allowance, certainly the stakes races. So you wind up winning one of those stakes races like the Street Sense, you're a 2-year-old to watch. Then Incredibolt disappoints on the return in the Holy Bull well behind nearly. And in the follow-up article yesterday, Riley Mott said, we were really disappointed because we were expecting a lot. And all we could kind of point to, because the horse came out of the race fine, was maybe he didn't like the surface. And so we were kind of hanging our hat on that. And as we'll see, that was a pretty good thing to hang your hat on, because it will be incredible. Nice ride from Jamie Torres, kind of the number 7 horse, finding a nice spot down on the inside, ducks in where there's a real cavalry charge and a lot of traffic. This will be a race that for trip people you'll pay attention to. But you can see him in the blue cap here diving down and comes up the rail to get the victory pretty easily once he finds the opening. The chart margin is 4, 6-1 there. Grittiness, that's a horse that Patrick Reed had talked about as being a little bit interesting. Grittiness runs second, and Confessional runs third, another horse that Patrick Reed mentioned. So at 36-1 and 8-1, Patrick Reed has a couple of horses at prices that he talked about that completed the trifecta. Butane went off as the 1-5 favorite, as the 3-2 favorite. Excuse me, $1.50 to $1, 3-2 favorite. He had a little traffic, and as they say, that'll be a trip note kind of a race for people going back. But Incredible now, 3 wins in 5 starts. The career debut at Ellis ran 4th, and then moves over to Churchill, breaks the maiden in the second start in September, and then comes back and wins that Street Sense. So a graded stakes winner. Street Sense is a grade 3. And again, it was a fall stake at Churchill. I give it a little upgrade there. And I think now you can look at that Holy Bull as an aberration because it was a nice, nice performance yesterday in the Virginia Derby on the rebound for Incredible. Riley Mott, what's he been out? Been out on his own 3 years, maybe. I'm always a bad guy. I always like people will say to me, "Hey, that great movie came out," and I'll think, "Yeah, what was that? Like 8 years ago?" No, it was like 18 years ago. So, but I think Riley's been on his own about 3 years. So you would think heads to the Derby. Has 50 points. No, has more than 50 points because the street set. So I think he has 60, and I think at this point he's tied on the top of the points leaderboard with Paladin with 60. 60 is going to be enough to get in. And you would think, barring any unforeseen circumstances, Incredible heads to the Derby. So again, it'll be fun to see Riley Mott, again, early in his career. Longtime assistant to his father, Bill Mott, obviously. We had him on the show up at Saratoga over the years when he was working for his dad. But now out on his own, as I say, it's been 3 years or so. And heading to the Derby with Incredible off a nice performance yesterday. There was also an interesting little side stat, according to the Racing Form follow-up article yesterday. Incredible, ridden by Jamie Torres. And according to DRF, keep this in mind, Jamie Torres undefeated in 4 starts at Colonial. I guess there was a stakes day last year where he had 3 wins on the card. And now he adds the Virginia Derby. And so you wind up 4 for 4 a lifetime at the track. And that kind of an interesting little sidelight. I'll also mention Rajiv Murrah was on Grittiness running second in there. And again, it was a close-up. Say it was margin of 4 lengths first to second, a neck between second and third. So Grittiness and Conventional also pick up some points. But they were in that category of horses that kind of the second string, looking to maybe move into the first string. I don't know whether they quite did it with second and third place finishes. Grittiness had tried a couple of stakes already for Todd Pletcher, and Grittiness is still a maiden. So clearly they have some expectations there, although it's Todd Pletcher and Mike Rapoli. Mike Rapoli is certainly willing to do that kind of a thing. He's got enough horses that he can take a maiden and maybe play around and pick up some money in stakes company. They paid over $500,000 for this horse, September 24 at Keeneland. So there was some high expectations right from the beginning. But again, still a maiden, had 3 maiden special starts, and then they tried the Remsen, ran 5th in there behind Paladin and Renegade, and then ran 2nd in the Withers behind Talk to Me Jimmy. And we showed that performance yesterday, Talk to Me Jimmy, who ran off and won by 11 lengths in the Withers. He's interesting to me, a New York bred from Rudy Rodriguez, Talk to Me Jimmy. So Grittiness runs 2nd in there, but again, Talk to Me Jimmy ran away. So 2nd by 11 lengths. Now he was 2nd yesterday in the Virginia Derby by 4 lengths. So he's a horse that interesting. They will pick their spots. They will break through and get the win. I mean, they can certainly pick their spot and go back to maiden company and get the win under the belt. And probably, you pick your spot at Keeneland or whatever, and you'll get a decent purse for a maiden race. But Grittiness, again, didn't establish himself with the A team necessarily. Confessional, same situation. Started the career out with a maiden breaker and debut in October, which seemed to indicate some talent. Then ran second in the seasonal debut at Gulfstream, and then they tried the Sam Davis and was well beaten in there behind Renegade. So that was a little rebound for that one. Second start in Stakes Company, but it was a third place finish. So as I say, there were a couple that at this point still kind of on the B team, as it were. But an incredible broke through, and he's, I think, kind of A team just with the points, and he'll be headed to the Derby. So we'll see how that all shakes out again, barring any unforeseen circumstances. Also on the card yesterday down at Colonial, the Virginia Oaks, mile and a 16th for the 3-year-old fillies, $250,000 up for grabs. I liked Hit Parade. Hit Parade was disappointing in here. Hit Parade went off at 5-1 as what the third choice. Bottle of Rouge wound up to be the favorite at 4-5 for Bob Baffert, and the betting public nailed it. Bottle of Rouge, the number 3 horse, as you can see, surging to the lead. Dazzling Dame, Kevin Kilroy really liked that horse yesterday and was right out there early, but just couldn't hold off Bottle of Rouge, who was clearly best in here. 4 1/4 lengths is the chart margin. The winning price, $3.60. Flavian Prat on board. Dazzling Dame does run second at 7-5. 26-1 Baffle with Rajiv on board. Runs third in the 5-horse field. And again, Hit Parade, who I liked, disappointed. That one had won the Untappable down at Fairgrounds end of December. The comeback in the Martha Washington was disappointing. And this was, and it was that one race where a little bit of an aberration, like Incredible. Does this one rebound off of a poor performance? No. So Hit Parade has now put a couple disappointing performances together to start the 3-year-old season. So she kind of moves to the B team after the end of the 2-year-old season with the Untappable win that had her in the conversation. But Bottle of Rouge, interesting Bob Baffert runner for his wife, Natalie Baffert. And the DRF follow-up article, I wasn't quoting Jimmy Barnes, but it kind of said, and I'm assuming Jimmy mentioned it, or maybe Bob himself had mentioned it, but Jimmy Barnes was with the horse yesterday, Bob's assistant at Colonial. And the article said something like they're picking their spots to make some money, make a little money for the wife. And so they win the $250,000 stake. And they had won in the previous start, the Sunland Park Oaks, also worth $250,000. So mission accomplished for this one in 6 career starts, 4 wins. That includes the Grade 1 Del Mar debutante back in September. So this is a Grade 1 winner. Now a couple of ungraded stakes, but with $250,000 purses, we go over $500,000 in earnings for a $100,000 yearling purchase and only the 6th start of the career. So Bottle of Rouge. And again, the article said, picking spots and trying to make some money with this horse. But they walk out of this race with Derby points. Now, I will say there was a scratch in the field, not Derby points, Oaks points, but there was a scratch in the field which cut the points, I think, 75% of the points. The field size shrunk to a level where they weren't awarding full points, just 75%, but still comes out of this race with some points that you would think would allow them to head to the Kentucky Oaks. And off of a couple of victories like that, I would think that is a legitimate possibility for Bottle of Rouge. So again, a couple of productive races there yesterday at Colonial for the 3-year-old boys and girls. We talked a little bit about the other stakes races, just to give you an update there. Didn't call for the replays, but Eunomia scores in the one of the divisions of the Sandy Bottom for Safi Joseph as the 4-5 favorite with Flavian on board. And Flavian, good day for Flavian Prat at Colonial. 3 stakes races, including that Kentucky Oaks, 5 wins overall down at Colonial. And again, it included the Anomia in the one of the division of the Sandy Bottom. Other division of the Sandy Bottom was Brad Cox with Chasin, getting it done at $9 as the third choice. Herlap, a horse I like, wound up the 6-5 favorite, half a length back, ran decently. And then in the Royal New Kent, it was also Flavian Prat with Tour Player over Dragoon Guard, getting it done. So again, there were your stakes results. And from what I read, they had a pretty good day down at Colonial. I think the handle was very good. And again, the weather, we had Kevin Kilroy on yesterday, and he said, no, it's supposed to be a nice day. And watching, it looked like it was a very nice day after having watched the kickoff to this little 3-day meet on Thursday where they were running in snow down there. It was a nice change to more spring-like weather. So good on them for, again, winding up that little 3-day meet with some nice weather and nice numbers as well. All right, there were 3 stakes down at Gulfstream yesterday. The Any Limit was for the 3-year-old fillies sprinting. I like Sweet Ember for Eddie Plisa, who is stepping into stakes company off of a couple of really nice wins, breaking the maiden first level allowance. Sweet Ember is going to be the number 2 horse here. Goes off at the second choice at 9-5. The favorite, though, is Mythical. I had that one down the third spot, and it was one of those where it's probably on reflection. The betting public was right, and I was wrong. Mythical just kind of outclassed him here. Chart margin winds up to be 2. Sweet Ember in the first start of the career, running second there, though. That was okay. And running second to Mythical, because Mythical, you look down the PPs, and this is a horse that started the career with a lot of promise. Debut victory at Gulfstream last April, then goes up to Saratoga, the Belmont meet, to face the boys in the Tremont and wins that. Then wins the Adirondack up at Saratoga, well beaten in the spin away, but goes down to Gulfstream to run in those, rich sire stakes races and wins both of those. Seasonal debut, though, as a 3-year-old for Mythical was a little bit disappointing, and maybe that's the theme of the day, the rebound efforts. But that's kind of why I shied away. Started the 3-year-old season in the Forward Gal down at Gulfstream and ran a well-beaten 5th behind On Time Girl. Now, On Time Girl is a nice player on the sprint side of things for the 3-year-old fillies. So, that is taken into consideration, albeit was well beaten, 13 lengths behind that one. But comes back to win in the second start of the 3-year-old season to, again, kind of put that last race as maybe draw a line through and legitimately was a little bit of an aberration. So there's your result in the Any Limit with Mythical getting it done. Career win number 6 in career start number 8. So pretty solid, the spin-away defeat. And the spin-away defeat was a pretty good defeat, too, 16 lengths back, and then came down and easily won the 2 sire stakes races. So maybe a horse that occasionally has a day where it's like, I don't feel like running. But then when she comes out with the running shoes on, runs very, very well, as she did yesterday. So Mythical gets it done in the Any Limit. On the boys' side of things, sprinting, it was the Hutcheson yesterday. $125,000 up for grabs, 6 furlongs the trip. My top pick scratched the Wesley Ward runner Arbiter. And then I scratched into the 7-horse Set, if I'm in the ballpark of the pronunciation there. That one did go off as the favorite. I wasn't thrilled with that one. I played in the media charity contest for the National Handicapping Championship. This was one of the races, and the horse I used there was number 6, Full Mind, and Full Mind does get it done in here. As I say, I wasn't thrilled with the favorite that I scratched into, and Full Mind was a little bit of a better price at $9.60. Wins by 2 3/4. Running second was Wooten, and then the favorite runs third in here at 3-5. And the favorite, looked okay, made some sense. Didn't look 3-5 by any means, though, but it was Full Mind getting it done for Kent Sweezy. And that one, 4th win in 8 career starts. Always say it. You have a horse that wins half of their starts. You've got a nice horse. They paid $80,000 for this horse in July of 2024. And now with yesterday's purse, they're approaching 200,000 in earnings, again, with 4 victories and 8 career starts and a stakes win on the resume now. So nice performance for Full Mind yesterday in the Hutcheson. And again, now becomes a little bit of a player on that 3-year-old sprint side of things, which has opportunities throughout the year. Races like the Woody Stevens and some of the races up at Saratoga as well. So we'll see where they go because, again, that's one of those subdivisions that throughout the year, the big days for the 3-year-old boys going the traditional, the Kentucky Derby and the traditional kind of distances typically have a nice big sprint stake for the 3-year-olds on the card as well. So see if Full Mind picks some of those spots. That would not be a surprise. And wound the day up yesterday at Gulfstream. The 12th race finale was the Captiva Island for fillies and mares, sprinting a quick 5. Sprinting a quick 5 furlongs, and it was scheduled for the turf, but they moved the turf races yesterday. I guess Friday night into Saturday, it sounded like they had a pretty good storm there. So this was moved over to the synthetic, and Twirling Queen got it done at $18. Me Governor gets the second spot at $32, 32 to 1, and Coco Barrio at 15 to 1. So 1, 2, 3 spots, big numbers here. Moonspun, the number 1 horse, runs 8th as the 6 to 5 favorite, but a pretty easy victory on the front end all the way around. Luis Saez, who I believe is now based down at Gulfstream, had spent some time this winter at Oaklawn, but I believe he's down at Gulfstream now. Jose D'Angelo trains. Luis Saez on board. And this one, again, another one that you'd like to have in your barn. 8 wins and 19 career starts. Not quite half of the time victories, but enough that you're putting a lot of money in the bank. Now in, again, 19 starts, 8 wins. And with the purse yesterday approaching $700,000. So pretty solid career so far for Twirling Queen. Nice little 5-year-old mare getting it done yesterday as at a price, again, $38 and change on the win end. The $1 exacta with 18 to 1 over 32 to 1, you wound up with just under $350. The 50-cent trifecta, 18 to 1, 32 to 1, 15 to 1, 50-cent trifecta, $1,140. So congratulations if your phone number started 9810. Or some other lucky combinations of numbers wound up that way for you. If you handicapped it, even better. Good for you. It was a nice way to wind up the day for the folks who cashed out in that finale at Gulfstream. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, Jimmy Winkfield at Aqueduct, a couple of stakes at Oaklawn as well. We'll hit on some news and notes and more when Racing Across America continues. Stay tuned.
The championship season is on at Gulfstream Park with 3-horse racing action Thursday through Sunday. Come out and enjoy the world's best horses, trainers, and jockeys as they compete over the Hallandale Beach Oval all season long. Take your experience up a notch and join us in 10 Palms Restaurant with unbeatable track views, outstanding dining, and convenient wagering options. For reservations, event schedules, tickets, and more, head to GulfstreamPark.com.
If you don't have a Capital OTB account yet, now is the time to log on and take advantage of the sign-up bonus. More details at capitalotb.com. Become a Capital OTB account member now and enjoy free past performances, wagering from any device, live streaming, racing info, contests, promotion and events, and more. So sign up now and take advantage of the new account bonus. Details at capitalotb.com.
Want to get your career in horse racing off to a fast start? Well, the University of Arizona's Racetrack Industry Program is your winning ticket. The Racetrack Industry Program has served as a springboard to some of the industry's most successful individuals, with a proven track record of job placement right out of college. If you want to earn a degree in the exciting horse racing industry, the Racetrack Industry Program can put you in the winner's circle.
Welcome back to Racing Across America on this Sunday morning. Seth Merrow in the studio. Thanks for joining us as always. Yesterday at Aqueduct in New York, it was the Jimmy Winkfield for 3-year-olds going 6 furlongs. I took a shot. My top pick was easy decision. Can't say took a shot. Second choice at 9-5, 8-5 on the morning line. But another Rapoli runner. Paid $300,000, lived up to it in the debut with a nice win with a solid buyer. I thought would step into stakes company successfully. Not to be. Easy decision to number 2. Fades to last in here. Igniter, betting public was correct. I had this one right underneath. This was no surprise. Rick Duttor, runner Igniter, goes off as the 3-5 favorite and gets it done. Chart margin is a length. Time to roll. Second. Blue 42 runs third in here. But again, in the field of 5, mostly a front end kind of thing for Igniter. This was the 3rd win in the 5th career start. Had tried stakes company last December in the Remsen. Wound up kind of a well-beaten 6th in there, but behind Paladin and Renegade, 2 of the horses who are, up at the top of the conversation on the 3-year-old side of things. Came back off of that one, got a little confidence builder and an optional claimer, non-winners in 1, middle of February. Nice win there, and then follows up getting back to stakes company and getting it done. So I think a legitimate, again, 3-year-old sprinter at this point. And I will know, other than the Remsen, these have all been sprints. There was a mile race, but of course down at Aqueduct, that's a 1-turn mile. So the 1 mile and 1/8, and that they stretched out in the Remsen maybe indicates they'll try that again. And I wouldn't say off of the Remsen, you could say for sure this horse is only a sprinter because as I say, ran behind Paladin and Renegade. So that was a salty group. So I wouldn't be shocked if they tried longer at some point with Igniter, but from what we've seen so far, solid on the sprint side of things and got it done. And I looked earlier for all of these races. I was looking for some buyer figures. I have not seen any so far. We'll keep trying to check out that situation because I'd like to see some numbers on some of these, including that incredible in the Virginia Derby and whatnot. So again, we'll keep our ear to the ground there. Down at Oaklawn yesterday, they had a couple of stakes. Kicked things off with the Purple Mountain 3-year-old fillies going 6. And in here it was Goodall for Steve Asmussen and Spendthrift, a daughter of Yaupan, and lived up to that win early breeding. Good second in the debut at the Fairgrounds, then won the second start in maiden special company of the Fairgrounds. So here in start number 3, the daughter of Yaupan gets it done in stakes company pretty easily, 4.5 lengths, 5-1 there. So a nice price. River Wind for Norm Cassie, another second-time starter, was the favorite at 3-5, runs second. Our 2 girls runs third. I kind of get on the numbers the action River Wind took, not the level of action. That one turned out to be the favorite, okay. But at 3-5 versus 5-1, River Wind and Goodall were pretty similar, and Goodall with maybe a little more experience under the belt. Boy, the $12 kind of attractive there as compared to the 3-5 that River Wind was offering. Now, that said, River Wind now comes out of this with some good experience to move forward from herself. That was only the second career start for the Norm Cassie trainee. So I think both of those worth watching. Our 2 girls who close up third for Kenny McPeak also has maybe a little potential as well. But Goodall going to be interesting to watch. Again, by Yaupan and what we've seen so far, 3 6-furlong races. Steve Asmussen so proficient with sprinters. So 3-year-old sprinter. And test maybe up at Saratoga if we're looking out that far. But it was a nice performance yesterday for Goodall in the Purple Mountain. The race that was going to be intriguing though yesterday at Oaklawn was the Whitmore 4-year-olds and up going 6 furlongs grade 3 event, and it was interesting because Tejano Twist was in here. Tejano Twist, now a 7-year-old runner for Chris Hartman, approaching, going into yesterday, approaching $2 million, had $1.7 million in the bank. Tejano Twist in this race last year, the Whitmore, ran third, 2 years ago, ran second, in 2023 won. So this is a horse that had tried this race successfully in the past 3 times and gets it done. Number 4 is Tejano Twist, runs by them all in the stretch, and got away as the second choice at 2-1. So you got $6 here. Number 3, Tough Catch, runs second. Gold Sweep runs third. Wendelson, 8-5 choice, runs fourth in there. Was another Chris Hartman runner. So Chris Hartman had the favorite. Didn't get it done, but did get it done with Tejano Twist. And as I say, with 1.7 and the race yesterday being worth $250,000, we are knocking on the door as far as approaching $2 million in earnings, which, is rarefied air. So this is a nice little son of Practical Joke, as I say, a 7-year-old Francisco Arrieta on board for Chris Hartman. That was win number 12 and start number 47. And again, approaching a couple $1 million. I would expect, I didn't see the follow-up, but I would expect comes out of this and goes to the Count Fleet, which is coming up on the calendar on the sprint side of things down at Oaklawn. That was the game plan last year. I don't see any reason why that would not be the game plan again for the nice sprinter Tejano Twist scoring in the Whitmore yesterday. All right, we'll take another break. When we come back, we'll hit on some news and notes. Stay tuned.
Sometimes it pays to go with the flow, to check your worries at the door, to reconnect with your crew, to follow the thrills and the flavor, to roll with it and see where it takes you, to enjoy every minute to its fullest, and to dance like there's no tomorrow. You can do that here at Rivers Casino and Resort Schenectady, where the good times flow.
You like free money? Well, Capital OTB gives its players plenty of opportunities to cash in. At Capital OTB, there are so many ways for horse players to receive bonus dollars by simply participating in promotions such as our bankrolls, bounty bets, online handicapping contests, and much, much more. Plus, with Capital OTB's Player Rewards program, you get actual cash back. So what are you waiting for? Log on today at CapitalOTB.com or CapitalOTBBet.com and claim your free money.
Come on.
I want sales reports on my desk by Monday.
Whoops. My bad.
Love racing? RTN brings you every live simulcast on your home television, plus live video streaming and race replays on your PC and mobile devices. To order, visit rtn.tv. RTN, a breed apart.
Welcome back. Again, we are in the midst of the National Handicapping Championship down at Las Vegas. Again, we got to get back out there. We were out there for a couple of years pre-pandemic. Well, one of the years it was leading right into the pandemic. But it's a lot of fun. And if you're not a contest player, I've said it many times. And we have, if you go to our website, we have the tourney bet contests that go into the kind of the universe of Capital OTB and some others. But there are occasionally some free contests there and whatnot. Check that out. If you haven't tried the tourney bets, go to the website and find those tourney bet contests weekly and see. But contests, because you have to, I think, hone your handicapping a little bit. Look for some value and I just think it helps with the handicapping in that you maybe go and depending on how the contest is played, and if you have a contest where it's not pick and pray and you can watch as you go along during the afternoon, it just makes you look at things maybe a little bit differently, which is good. It shakes things up a little bit on the handicapping side of things. But they're a lot of fun. There are a bunch of them online. There are a bunch of them at live venues. I talk about it all the time. Big fan of Naira and the low roller. That's always a lot of fun. And that may be a good way to get in the summertime. But like horse players and horse tourneys online, you can try them. I would love to get out to Vegas again on the TV side, but I'd love to get out as a player. And so I play some of these online contests, and they have little feeders that feed into the actual qualifier. So on a Thursday, let's say, there's a contest that costs you maybe $18. They're all different price points. And occasionally there are free ones out there too at the various sites. As I say, Tourney Bet's the one related to capitalotb.com. But typically maybe $18, $20 gets you into a Thursday or really any day of the week. But it's a qualifier for a qualifier. So you play there, and for $18, depending on how many are in, if you're the winner or if there are a number of people in the contest, you can finish second or third and then qualify for a weekend contest that is an actual qualifier to the NHC. And that would cost you maybe $150 or $160, but you qualified, you spent 18 and you get into the $160 contest that then sends you to Vegas. And a couple of times I've been right there. And I do not get to play them enough. I play occasionally. But as I say, if you haven't tried contests, go out. You can have some fun. And again, for a price point that is very affordable, you might get sent out to Vegas, where for everybody that made it to today, they get at least $10,000. So it can be lucrative. The winner gets over $800,000 in the National Handicapping Championship. So it's fun. I was in yesterday. Every year they do a charity event. This year it was the Thoroughbred Aftercare, and the winner sent his portion to Old Friends. The winner gets to pick where $10,000 gets sent to the charity. And I guess it's split between the TAA, which is automatically getting some, and then the winner gets to, in his or her name, send it to another charity. And this year, it was yesterday, and I played, and I played for a few years now in the media charity event, which is 8 races on the Saturday card. So the media event was just yesterday. But Jude Feld took it. Jude Feld, who you can hear with Mike Penna on the Horse Racing Radio Network. Might be the second time might be the second or third time he's done it. Our friend Ellis Starr was second. And again, mythical $2 win place bet on 8 races yesterday. Nice day for Jude Feld, $83. Ellis Starr, $79. I wound up 6th and was kicking myself because you make 2 picks in every race. It's a pick and pray, and you make 2 picks in every race. Your first choice, and if there's a late scratch, your alternate moves in. My alternate won 2 of the races. And in both of those races, my top pick ran 3rd at a decent price. So you only get paid win place. So I get zapped out of any money with my top pick, and then my alternate wins. Otherwise, it might have been an even better day. But I was happy to finish 6th in there. And it's fun. It's, again, media and racing personalities. Joe Christopher, Joe Clancy, Peter Rotondo, Jay Privman, Scott Hazelton in there, Matt Bernier, one of the players, Matt Dinnerman, Ray Pollock, Don Lupo, Christina Blacker, Steve Beck was in the contest as well. Larry Colmus, Bobby Holt, Spa Infield Goose. And if you don't know who I'm talking about, you're not on Twitter, but the Spa Infield Goose gave it a shot. Sean Clancy, Ron Nicoletti played as well. Frank Angst, Tom Law, Rachel McLaughlin, who's down at the NHC. She's been on a few times with Steve Bick, but she's kind of in a hostess role down there and bouncing around. See some of her work on ABR, who's covering the event as well. But again, congratulations to Jude Feld on the media performance. I was happy with I always look to beat the contest, as it were, at least. I look to win, but with 8 races and $2 win place, if you get to $32, you've beaten the contest. And so with $43, I at least beat the contest, but 6th place finish amongst the group. I was, as I said, happy with it, but a little bit disappointed with and when you're parsing between the top pick and the alternate, a lot of times, and one of these races was definitely those, you're parsing and thinking, it's a pick and pray. Where are the odds going to shake out? And so it's almost a coin flip. And so one of the races, Viviana, if you go back and look, that paid well. I easily could have had that alternate on top, but it is what it is. And again, it was fun yesterday. So thanks to the NTRA folks for the invitation to play in that. And congratulations to Jude Feld and the racing charities that wound up a little money out of that event yesterday. All right, I wanted to follow up yesterday. I did note we had some locals, number of Saratoga Springs folks, but some locals all around in the mix. And so I wanted to, after day 2, just kind of follow up a little bit on where the locals are. And again, the contest, there are mandatories and optionals Friday and Saturday. At the end of the day yesterday, the top 10% made the cut to go to today. And that was 83 people. So you had to be in the top 83 to get to today's Sunday. Everybody who made it to Sunday gets at least $10,000 the prize pool here. So if you wind up today not doing anything, but you made it to today, you still get $10,000. It goes up kind of incrementally. If you wind up number 40, you get $17,000. If you wind up number 12, $38,000. And then the top 5 or 6, sixth place at the end of the contest, $100,000, 5th, $125,000, 4th, $150,000, 3rd, $200,000, 2nd, $300,000, and the winner at the end of today will have $825,000. There's also a tournament today for folks. I guess everybody plays it, even if you made it to today. But if you didn't make the cut to today, you can jump in the Sunday tournament. The winner there is going to get $25,000, and it goes down to 25th place. So the chance to make a little money for people today who didn't make the cut. But I, again, wanted to just mention some of the locals and give some congratulations. Derek Collette from Saratoga. As I say, we had a number of Saratoga players. And so just making it out there, I give a tip of the hat. And the notes I have do note how many times these people have qualified for the NHC. And it was Derek's first time. So again, congratulations for making it out there. John Martino, also Saratoga Springs guy, also first time out there. And he qualified. The information tells how folks qualified. He qualified via Horse Players. So he's playing online. Good job to John Martino. He moved up from, didn't make the cut to today, but moved up from 401 after Friday to 273. And he was at $125,000. The cut, $125. And again, like the media contest, mythical win place. So he winds up with 125. But just to show you how close it kind of was, the cut number 1 yesterday, the person who comes into today on top, $248 and change. And I mentioned yesterday, going back the last 7 years, the winner is typically at the end of the contest somewhere between $342 and $404 over the past 7 years. And we're right on line to be in that ballpark again after today with the number 1 person at 248. The cut line, though, number 83, the last person to get in, $174. So again, John Martino with 125, right up there in the ballpark. Our friend Paul Matisse, he had a tough weekend, but he got the $800,000 a few years ago, winning the contest. And again, the notes I have, talk about the number of times these folks qualified. Paul's qualified 17 times, and as I say, a previous winner. Kyle Morelli, another Saratoga Springs guy, moved up significantly and wound up $285, but again, $120 and $122 and change. So it was a nice shot there. But again, you have a couple things go your way. You're making it to Sunday in that mix. Doug Schenk, he another Saratoga Springs guy. He's made it 7 times, and again, looks like one of those weekends was not playing. It's got to be your day. I've said that all the time. When you're playing amongst 830 entries, my calculation from looking at this contest, one out of about every 50 people has their day. And the fact of the matter is, here you have to string kind of 3 of them together. It's tough to do. And by your day, I don't mean, I've said this before, I don't mean that you're once in a lifetime thing. I mean, days we have, a handful of times during the year where everything you touch turns to gold. You just need to have a few of those days be this weekend. It's tough. Joe Tambasco from Amsterdam, he's qualified 4 times. So again, congratulations to him as well. But we're going to give a big tip of the cap to, again, a local has made it to today, Rob Dolan. And I'm friendly with Rob. Saw him a couple of weeks ago down at Gulfstream Fountain Youth Weekend. He was playing a contest down there. I know he plays regularly in the weekend NYRA contests. Plays with OTB, I believe, as well. But he winds up, after Friday, he was 281 with $49. End of the day yesterday, 71 with $178. And as I say, the cut line, so he's 71. So he's 12 above the cut line, but the cut line was 174. So he's $4 away. That group of people, 10 over, 10 under the cut line. If you made it, if you didn't make it, you have to be looking at it, because I'm sure there are a group of people that are just below the cut that just need a little something to go their way. They're probably within, $4 or $5 of having made Sunday. And again, you make Sunday, you get $10,000 just for, showing up today, as it were. But again, congratulations to Rob Dolan for making it to the Sunday cut. And I will say I don't think it was last year. I think it was a couple of years ago. The eventual winner came into Sunday at maybe 65 or 66, and slowly all day long progressed, made the final table, progressed through the final table, and ended up winning. It was a kind of a remarkable performance. So if you're down the list, things can break your way. Again, you have your day. Things can break out in your direction very nicely. So we're rooting for Rob. Again, a group of Saratoga guys. It was fun to see 4 or 5 Saratoga guys this year, but one of them making the cut to Sunday. And again, the way it plays out today, it goes halfway, maybe a little more than halfway, and then that's the end of the early Sunday action. At that point, the final 10, the top 10 at that point, go to the final table, and they have, I believe, 7 races that they'll duke it out for the honors at the end of the day today. So, again, congratulations to everybody who made it to today, and certainly, as I say, rooting for Rob and some of the other folks that we know on the list. There were some notables that I looked through, folks I know that just, as I say, wasn't their day. It's tough. It's tough to make it, so congratulations for making it out there. And again, it's a fun weekend. I highly tell people to try the contest if you haven't. If you can get out to Vegas, a horse players convention, and it is not cutthroat. It's far more. People want to win, and but it's very friendly, and everybody is kind of a fun horse player and a smart horse player. It's a lot of fun. To which I will recommend. I did it yesterday. SteveBick.com. Yesterday came on at 3:30. I would expect probably about the same today. But listen to Steve out there because yesterday was a lot of fun. I listened throughout the day. He has players come in and handicap some races and give some handicapping strategies. And these are some of the best players in the country, certainly. And it's a lot of fun. Steve's been out there at the NHC doing the radio show for years, and it's a good listen for sure. So again, stevebick.com, and pull up the radio show today. And it clearly at the end of the day, as they get to the final table, it becomes a lot of fun. And what's the strategy? Where are people going to go? If you're in a good position, do you keep the good position? Do you shoot for the win? Like if you're in 8th place on the final table, do you take a shot, or do you just want to move up a couple and get a few more $1,000? It's fun. Again, highly recommend stevebick.com for a little bit later. All right, I'm going to take one more quick break, and when we come back, we'll wrap it up on this Sunday morning. Stay tuned.
Want to get your career in horse racing off to a fast start? Well, the University of Arizona's Racetrack Industry Program is your winning ticket. The Racetrack Industry Program has served as a springboard to some of the industry's most successful individuals, with a proven track record of job placement right out of college. If you want to earn a degree in the exciting horse racing industry, the Racetrack Industry Program can put you in the winner's circle. The championship season is on at Gulfstream Park, with great horse racing action Thursday through Sunday. Come out and enjoy the world's best horses, trainers, and jockeys as they compete over the Hallandale Beach Oval all season long. Take your experience up a notch and join us in 10 Palms Restaurant with unbeatable track views, outstanding dining, and convenient wagering options. For reservations, event schedules, tickets, and more, head to GulfstreamPark.com.
Sometimes it pays to go with the flow, to check your worries at the door, to reconnect with your crew, to follow the thrills and the flavor, to roll with it and see where it takes you, to enjoy every minute to its fullest, and to dance like there's no tomorrow. You can do that here at Rivers Casino and Resort Schenectady, where the good times flow.
Welcome back to Racing Across America. Don't forget, there is a Derby future pool, and I just pulled it up here because I was interested to see incredible, the morning line, 90-1. And we said on the Friday Derby show, and again yesterday, if you're going to play the Derby future and you're looking at some of the horses in the Virginia Derby, wait until Sunday to take a look. And yeah, Incredible, who was 90-1 on the morning line after yesterday, 15-1. So, and as I always say, I like about 20-1 or so. That one took a little too much of a hit. But there are some nice numbers on here. Further ado at 27-1. Again, people letting that one float away after the performance last week. But I thought that was a decent little comeback. Nearly sitting at 11-1. Paladin at 9-1. And all others, I'm going to dip in for a little all others at 17-1. Again, I think you'll still wind up with potentially 3 or 4 maybe in the gate that will come into the gate with a little momentum, I would think. So that may be one, but there are some individual entrants that are live at prices today. And again, the Derby pool closes at 6. The Oaks pool closes at 6:30. There's also an Oaks Derby double future wager. So keep that in mind for today. And just before I wrap up, you can pull them up now. They have already drawn the cards for next Saturday at Turfway and next Saturday at Fairgrounds. Big days at both tracks over at Turfway. It'll be the Jeff Ruby Stakes Stake, Grade 3 event for the 3-year-olds, mile and 1/8. It's on the synthetic, but horses have come out of this and done okay subsequently on the dirt. They have a full field in there of some interesting players. Full effort coming in off a second in Leonatus and the Battaglia for Brad Cox. Irad Ortiz is scheduled to ride. We'll keep our fingers crossed for Irad. Again, there was a spill on Thursday. He wound up just getting kind of beaten up a little bit, wound up sore. They did x-rays and whatnot. That was all fine. Good news there. But his agent came out and said off through Sunday. And so we're hoping Irad back next week. Certainly wishing the best there. Black Hornet comes in off a turf win in the Black Gold down at the fairgrounds. Jeremy Plonk has said over the years that this race is a little bit interesting. If you look at horses coming in from the Gulfstream Park turf, well, Black Hornet coming in from a turf stakes victory at fairgrounds could be a little bit intriguing. Argos does come in for Brad Cox, now in the Brad Cox barn, off a stakes try on the turf down at Gulfstream. So maybe a little bit interesting there. We'll talk more, obviously, about the Jeff Ruby Stakes stake over the next week. And then over at Fairgrounds, big stakes day at the Fairgrounds as well. Grade 2 Louisiana Derby, another nice full field in there. Emerging Market, stuck outside. That may be a real obstacle, being lightly raced. But comes in off of that comes in off that maiden victory in the debut effort at Tampa that got a lot of buzz and a 97 buyer. But part of the buzz was Power Shift ran well to be second in there. Power Shift on the follow-up, not so much maybe. So we'll see how it shakes out with Emerging Market. Blacksmith, Patrick Reed mentioned Blacksmith for Bob Bafferton as an interesting runner, and would be in all others on the pool as well, but comes in off a nice try to break the maiden in career start number 5. So there's a little bit of interest and potential there. Chip Honcho, second in the Risen Star, won the Gun Runner earlier at the Fairgrounds meet. And Chip Honcho, I think, was a price as well on the future pool, 43-1. You pick up 43-1 here, and by next Saturday night, that may look very generous with Chip Honcho. Golden Tempo for Cherie DeVoe has a little bit of interest. Pavlovian, Doug O'Neill runner coming in off a win in the Sunland Park Derby in the latest effort. So fun race in the Louisiana Derby coming up. And again, both Fairgrounds and Turfway cards have been drawn. All right, one last reminder, Gulfstream Park mandatory in the Rainbow Six today. Keep that in mind. Derby Oaks future pools wind up later on today. If you want to jump in and grab a little extra fun in there, by all means. And if you want to tune in and grab a little extra fun this afternoon here on OTB TV, we'll be in all afternoon with OTB Live. Gulfstream's going to kick off at 12:50, Aqueduct at 1:10. I'll be looking at both of those tracks. We'll have more action here on the network as well, so it should be a lot of fun. Seth Merrow wrapping it up for Racing Across America on a Sunday morning. As always, we appreciate your tuning in. Look forward to having you on board for OTB Live this afternoon. See you then. We'd like to thank Gulfstream Park for their sponsorship of this program and some of the other programming and events here at Capital OTB. Gulfstream Park's championship meet features great racing now through Florida Derby weekend at the end of March.
You're watching OTB TV, a service of Capital Off-Track Betting.